You want to start making software as a service, but you don't know where to start. I'm going to give you the 8 steps that I follow that has helped me make millions of dollars as an independent developer. So let's get started. All right, guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again, CodingPhase.com. So now we're going to get into the 8 steps to building a successful software as a service. This is what every single one of you guys need to do. This is going to be like your checklist. Okay. Now we are also going to go in and basically show you guys in video form every single step on how to do this. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys an idea for an application. Now, again, I don't suggest doing the same idea, but it's basically for you guys to see the whole process of how to actually go in and build a successful software as a service or microservice. Okay. So the first step is identifying the pain point. So remember, you have your personal experiences, okay? And you're going to decide what your application is going to be about. But again, it has to have some type of pain, some type of problem that the person is going through, and how you're going to go in and solve that problem. Don't focus so much on the idea. Sometimes people get this wrong. They're like, well, I got to think of an idea. It's like, no, think about what's the problem that you're going to solve. And then from there, you're going to be able to find the idea for the application you're going to build. Okay. Now, again, this is going to work for either way. Okay. Of identifying the pain point or what application we will improve. Okay. For example, you're going to copy. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how to find like winning applications and how to actually decide, hey, this is a good idea and maybe I could go in and tackle this. But again, the idea that I have is basically a personal situation that happened to me this past year. I basically had gained a lot of weight. Okay. And basically my blood glucose, right? Basically, I got diabetes. Believe it or not, right? I don't have diabetes no more. But how did I, deal with this thing, right? And what was like one of the pains that I had? And it was like, what type of food do I eat? Okay. So I can tell you there's thousands, if not millions of people who have the same issue. You gain weight and then now they tell you, well, you're pre-diabetic, or, hey, you're diabetic. But how do you change that? Okay. You actually change that by changing your diet, losing weight and just, staying healthy and working out. Okay. That's how you do it. It's very simple. It's, unless you got type 1 diabetes, type 2 is basically you just fat. You got to lose weight. Okay. That's just the facts, and just eat better. So that's what I did. So that's the idea of the application. So in this process, we already identified the pain point, and I'm telling you guys from now, before we even get into that video, that's what the idea is going to be. How do I go in and help people eat better, right? And the way how I'm going to validate the idea is by searching through different forums, searching through community groups, right? You have different places like Reddit, Quora, Facebook groups, right? If you're building some type of application that's already popular out there and it's already making money, and what you're doing is like copying it, you can also do the same thing, Reddit, Quora, right? See like what's the problems that they're solving. Okay. And also to check through like G2 Trustpilot to see what are the complaints that they have on their reviews. And then that way you could improve on it. Okay. Because the idea is not to copy like straight up the whole application. Is really to improve it, right? Because no one wants to get a copy. For that, they just get the original one, right? So that's the number one thing that we're going to be doing on the first video, which is going to be identifying the pain point or what app you will improve. Okay. And we'll go through that whole process. Of course, this is like things that you want to ask is like, yo, what are people complaining about or wasting time doing manually? How can you go in and improve their lives and make it simple for them? Okay. So I'll give you a great example. This is a website called thumbnailspro.com. I basically pay $20 a month just to get my thumbnails done. Okay. I could generate an image of myself and basically have like a whole software as a service right? Where I could go in and, hey, create this thumbnail, which is 8 steps to building a successful software as a service. And it basically creates this thumbnail. By the way, this video that you're watching right now in the course, I'm going to make it into a preview video for YouTube. So that's why I have the thumbnail, I have the title. So again, this service here just saves me time. Okay. This is what a lot of YouTubers have to go through. And guess what? That's our, most painful thing, having to take a stupid picture and have to look all goofy in the picture. And then from there, put in, the image, the title, etc. I don't want to do that. So I just pay a service for that. Okay. So again, don't focus on building something so big that one is going to take you years to build, right? Because in reality, what you want to do is just build the MVP. Okay. If I was to just show you this application, this is like a super simple application. Like this guy didn't even put no time into the design of it or how it even works, but it works. Okay. Literally it works. And the landing page, it's super simple. Okay. It's just like, hey, you have monthly plan, you have a yearly plan. Very, very simple. Okay. It's a great service. I love it. If you got a YouTube channel, definitely recommend it for you guys. But again, it's not perfect. So guess what? I also have to use ChatGPT to help me come up with, what the prompt will be so I could give it into this application. So yes, you got to use multiple services, but it works flawlessly, man. It gives me great images, man. It saves me some time. Okay. And it's worth the $20. So again, you want to build a simple application straight to the point. Okay. And like I said, the first idea that I have for this and what this idea is going to be, basically all the videos in this whole section is going to be based on that idea of how do I go in and help people lose weight when they have, type 2 diabetes. Okay. It's something that a lot of people have issues with, and that's what I'm tackling. Now for you guys have your own personal experiences, your own knowledge and experience from industries. This is why it's so important to, look within, look at the things that you have issues with, and then use code to actually save you, that time and be able to solve that problem for that person. Because if it can solve your problem, trust me, there's at least 1,000 people out there that also have that same issue. And you could charge $5. That's $5,000 a month. If it's $10, $10,000. If it's $20, it's $20,000 that you could be charging for this one simple idea and being able to help the person solve that problem. The second step is going to be validating the actual idea. Okay. And the way how you do that is by checking through Google Trends, keyword tools like Ahrefs. You have Reddit that you could validate it. You could even run polls or ask inside of a community. Do you use X tool, right? Let's say if you're copying another app, hey, do you use this tool? What do you wish it would do better, right? And that way you could go in and say, people are interested in this, and this is a problem that I could solve with this application. That right there helps you validate the market demand. Number 3 is define your ideal customer. You got to create a simple persona, right? What's the job title? What's the industry? Tools they use, what's their budget, maybe their race, maybe their ethnicity, maybe their weight, maybe, are they male, female. You want to have a persona. You want to know who is your targeted audience, who is the person that's going to be using your application, because that way you can go in and have an idea of like how you're going to solve their problems, and you have a clear picture of who is your customer. Okay. So again, this is an example. Busy real estate agents who hate managing open house schedules manually. Let's say that was an application we was building. Now we know exactly who the person is that we're tackling. Okay. Number 4 is study the competition. This is where you're going to go in and do your research on other competitors, other applications that do the same thing as you. So for example, search on Google, product directories, ProductCon G2, Capterra, lists of competitors, and analyze them. I'm going to show you guys what are the tools that I use for this. Okay. You want to write down what are the features that they have, what's their pricing model, what's the weaknesses that they have as far as the reviews, targeted users. Okay. And from there, basically ask, what can I do 10 times better, faster, or cheaper? Okay. So you want to improve the application. You want to go in and make it more smooth, basically like give it like a better experience, right? That will be great. And it's always good to undercut the competition. Somebody charging $50 a month. Guess what? Maybe charge 25, maybe charge 20. To be honest with you, at the end of the day, once you have enough customers and you have a name for your application and people already going to it, at some point you could always raise prices. You could always grandfather in everybody who's already in the platform. And then from there, whoever comes in new, they got to pay the full price of whatever it is, right? Once you have enough reviews, etc. So again, study the competition, make it better, faster, and cheaper. That way you're going to have that edge. Okay. The next thing is sketching the MVP. Okay. Based on the research that you have, you want to define 1 to 2 features that directly solve the core pain points. Okay. So you also want to go in and say, ignore everything else. Focus on the outcomes, not the bells and whistles. Don't spend a million hours focusing on a button. What colors should you go in and have? Try to keep it simple, make it nice and clean, but don't go too crazy on adding a million features. Remember, you want to create an MVP. So another great service that's out there is this service called Headshot Pro, right? When this guy, Danny Postma, created this, it was a very simple application. And over the past 2-3 years, he's added a whole bunch of features to this application here. But when he first launched it, it was something very simple, just like this. It wasn't like a million different features inside of it. You work on it as you already found validation and you have paying customers. And once they go in and they start asking you for features and they start telling you, hey, I want to have this. Hey, I want to have that. Then you add it. You don't want to spend a million hours on something that people never asked for. Okay. Sometimes we go crazy as developers. We try to add a million things. In reality, no one really asks for those applications. No one asks for those features. So again, keep it very, very simple. Okay. You want to go in and build your MVP. Number 6, I will say, talk to your potential users, right? So you want to go in, maybe hop on a call with some of these people, right? How do you do that? How do you find people that are interested in your application, right? And how can you go in and get it, more of a personal, experience of like, hey, how would they use this application? What are the things that they're frustrated about, right? You might want to hop on a call with some people, okay? Or maybe just emails at least. But talk to your potential users. This is something that you want to do. Again, you're going to be able to use things like Facebook groups, Reddit, right? Ask questions. Go on Quora. Ask some questions. It don't cost you nothing to do that. Again, you could also reach out to family members, friends. If you're having some type of application that's going to solve the problem for, someone that you might know, have a call with them, talk to them, and ask them questions. I'm going to give you guys all of the type of questions that you should ask them. In this way, you're going to have more information and validation for your application. You're going to say, okay, cool. This is the things that they're really having an issue with. How do I solve that problem, right? So again, record these insights. Don't pitch to them, okay? Don't go in there and be like, hey, I have this great application. It's going to solve your problem, but, it's going to be $50 a month. No, this is a call for you to just talk to them. This is just to get to know them, get to know, why would they use an application like this? What are the problems that they're having? And again, this is just for you to have actual feedback from real potential users, not to sell them anything at all. All right. The next thing is test willingness to pay. All right. You want to go in and build a landing page, maybe a pre-order form, maybe having a landing page that someone comes in and joins a waiting list. Maybe somebody comes in and have like an offer of like early access, right? Super low, where you're gonna charge $20 a month, but maybe your first 100 customers you charge them $5. Maybe you charge them $7, right? See if people are willing to pay for this. See if people are willing to go in and sign up at least to a form to get notifications on this application. If you can't get this, okay, that's the number one thing that you're gonna realize is like, hey, let me not even waste my time into this thing. Okay. Now, again, how you're gonna get people to test this out? Remember, from the beginning of this course, I've been telling you guys about using social media. You have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have all of these platforms. Go and start building, a brand, right? Especially a brand for your application. Now you might say, well, if I'm testing, right, to see if people even care about this, like, should I even create a social media account for it? I would suggest yes. Even before you start building it, you want to go in and, maybe drop a text or, on Twitter, or maybe you want to upload like a photo and talk about the pains that people are going through and how this application is going to solve the problem to it. Okay. You want to go in and make sure to see if people really want this. Okay. Run a small ad campaign. That's always going to be good. If you got $60, it don't cost you nothing to literally run an ad saying, hey, are you somebody that is having issues with losing weight and you just got diagnosed with diabetes? Would you like to learn how to eat better? How would you like to learn what type of foods and fruits and whatever have more calories or have more sugar? You can run something like that. Again, this is the type of application that we're building together. But again, this is where you're going to go in and you're going to have to start thinking about what type of ads you will create. Okay. So again, you have the marketing section of this course to go over of, getting ideas for your ads. Okay. Money equals validation. Sign-ups without commitment equals vanity. All right. So if you have like 1 million people that signed up to your website and it's completely free, then yeah, it's going to be very difficult for you to go in and switch those users into paying customers. Once people get something for free, then they want to get it for free. Also too, you want to start bringing people into your website that are going to be paying customers. You don't want to have looky-loos. They're just going to waste your time. Okay. So again, we're going to talk about that in that video. And the last part here is planning your technical build, right? You kind of already know what are the skills that you have. What's your framework, right? Just create like a plan of the features that you're going to be building, what framework you're going to be using, what type of service you're going to be using, etc. Right? And APIs, just create an outline of the feature, which is your MVP, and what's your stack. Once you have that, then you're good to go. And you can really go in and start building everything that has to do with this application, because at the end of the day, you pretty much got all of the information that you needed from here to validate that idea and that application that you're going to be building, right? At that point, you could say, let me go deep into this and really go hard and knock this out. Okay, but it's very important to go through the first steps, identify the pain points, validate the market, define your ideal customer, study the competition, sketch the MVP, and if you can, talk to some potential users, and definitely test out the willingness to pay by having at least a landing page, some type of, early bird pricing, some type of, email waiting list, etc. Right? And like I said, we're going to go over all of this inside of this course. And pretty much show you guys the whole process. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. These are my 8 steps that I use for all of my software as a service in any product that I actually go and build. Okay, it's a lot of information in here, but again, hopefully you guys picked up a couple of gems. And for anybody that's interested in seeing all of the videos, individual videos for each section and every step, and show you guys the tools that I use, the services that I use, and just the workflow of how to go in and validate these ideas for any type of software as a service and making sure that it's profitable, definitely check out the Profitable Developer course, which is going to be on the description of this video. Okay, when you click on the description, you get 25% off for you guys to make sure that you guys have access to this platform. And again, this is a course that we sell independently on CodingPhase.com. So yes, we cover things like freelancing platforms. We're talking about Fiverr, Upwork, and a whole bunch of other ones. We go over how to do freelancing, local services, right, for local businesses, right, and entrepreneurs. We also go into digital products. We're talking about things like courses. We're talking about Shopify themes, WordPress themes, PDF files. I give you the prompts to generate social media posts. I help you with the process of the marketing, how to get organic traffic to your products on Twitter, on YouTube, on TikTok. Like literally, we go deep into this course. We also go into software as a service, and we even give you the marketing section where literally in here, you're going to go in and see the best strategies to be able to go in and make money with your ads. All right. I've been doing this for over 7 years, where literally this is the process that I do. Okay. As you can see, we have CodingPhase.com. This is a successful platform. How did I grow it? How did I get to grow this business? How did we was able to make millions of dollars with this idea that no one even knew about? No one knew CodingPhase.com. How did we grow it to this level? All right. This is the knowledge that I'm giving inside of this course. This is the same thing that I've done with CodingPhase, with my digital agency, and also to all of my other digital products that I have online that's selling. Okay, it's a process, it's a strategy, right? Once you have this, I'm pretty much giving you the keys to the game. All right, guys. So links on the description, and I hope that you guys enjoy the video. All right, take care, guys.